Alrighty, folks. Good morning, everyone. Hello, hello. How's everybody doing today? I see Emma in the chat. I see Matt and General Kenobi. Roseanne, Ron, Waralo? I hope I said that properly. Anthony, Valder, my friend, Clarissa, Peter, Viola, Ring King, and Sam Peterson. I see all of my friends and so many familiar faces in the chat. It is so good to see all of you folks. Last session jokes. I'm all for inside jokes. I want you guys to have fun in the chat. But yeah, welcome in to challenge number 5 of the Photoshop Daily Creative Challenge. It is a beautiful Monday morning here for me in sunny Northern California. My name is Voodoo Val, and I am going to be your host this morning. If you folks are over on YouTube watching this intro for this stream, please head over to behance.net/live, where we are all hanging out, where I'm reading the chat. It is where you can make a bunch of new friends, and also where any helpful links and things that I'm going to be going over during this challenge are going to be posted. So all of our resources and stuff are over there. Oh, thank you, Peter. This is where the fun begins. Yes. It definitely is. So we have done a lot of super cool challenges thus far for the challenge. We've done a week's worth of work already, and all of the challenges are themed around kind of a monster hunter challenge for these 2 weeks. If you are not into that theme, if you're not really wanting to make spooky, creepy, scary things, that is totally fine. Anyone who participates in these challenges is more than welcome to interpret them however they like. You folks can use the tips and tricks that I give out during these challenges to work on your own projects, on client projects, personal projects, whatever you want to do, or you can even theme these challenges however you like. I just like to give a theme to kind of get the creative juices flowing for everybody, give everyone a theme and prompt, rather than just kind of jumping in and looking at the tools. I like to make things a little more exciting. So I've put together that theme, but yeah, you guys could do whatever you like. So far, I'm going to pull up the landing page for the challenge, because we're going to go over what we've done so far. We're going to check out the Discord, and then we're going to jump into today's challenge. So if I pop over here, if you go to behance.net/challenge/Photoshop, it will take you here, and you will know that you are in the proper place if it says October 26th through November 6th. That is the segment of time that we are working in. You can hit this blue button if you'd like to register for the challenge, and then you can also come down here and get a little how does it work 1 through 4 step by step of basically what this challenge is. So essentially every morning we release a challenge to you. You'll see some of these are open, and you can read them, you can see their icons, you can click get started and grab these starter files, you can click watch video to go back and see the broadcasts for these. And then you'll see that a lot of these other ones are locked to you. That is because these ones have yet to come. So we have done an inspirational mood board, where we created a mood board of fonts and images and colors and things that we're going to be using throughout our challenge. We designed a logo for our Monster Hunter, which was really fun. We aged up a photo, which we are going to take a look at again this week. We created kind of a filter for a photo that makes an image look as if it was taken and developed with a disposable camera, which was a lot of fun. We designed a business card for our Monster Hunter, be it a man or woman, or maybe something in between. I know a lot of you folks were kind of playing with the idea that maybe the Monster Hunter is a monster themselves, which I thought was super cool. So you guys can design your business card. I kind of designed the business card as if I was the Monster Hunter, so I made like a mock logo for myself and created the card, which was a lot of fun. And then today we're doing advertisement mock-up. So it's create a simple advertisement and then mock it up on a wall by editing the perspective. And this is really fun because this is something obviously that you can use for a lot of different things. If you'd like to create a mock-up and put a poster on a wall in a cityscape or something like that, this is the challenge for you. However, we're going to make something a little spooky. We're going to go with a curfew poster because there's a monster on the loose in our city, and we we want to make sure everyone is inside before sundown. So that's what we're going to be creating today. You can also go to the Discord. So the Discord looks like this. This is the link to the Discord, bit.ly/PS Discord. You want to make sure that P and S are capitalized so you get where you need to go. And you don't go to some other random server. And when you go to this link, it will bring you here. So this is our Discord server, and there are a lot of really fabulous things being posted. I really loved this this challenge entry from Valaris for for the business card investigator Ava Hawks, and it has all of the information where you can find her, her telephone number, and I really loved this. No job too small, no case too strange. So if you really do think that your granddaughter was kidnapped by a ghost, Ava can help you, because that's not out of the ordinary for her. If you really do think that there is a monster swimming in the loch, Ava can help you with this, because she knows what's up with the paranormal. And so we've got like a lot of these really cool. I love this. We've got a lot of really cool ones coming through. We got Frank using some mock-ups. I love it. We've got this. This is really cool. So Frank did not only just like a aged kind of textured photo, but he made it look as if we're like filming the pyramids, which is cool. So we have like the camcorder stuff around it. It's from May 3rd, 1989 at 11 in the morning. And that's a wild sky for 11 in the morning. I'd say some spooky stuff is going on here in this scene for sure. I love it. I think you did a wonderful job, Frank. And it looks like you used the replace sky. I assume, and I think that the sky you've chosen is awesome. I also love the blur. I see you've got like the tilt shift blur going on here, that just makes it look so much cooler. But we have got a lot of really awesome designs. This is awesome too. This so we were toying with the idea of maybe having a logo that was like a magnifying glass, since this person is like a paranormal detective, and I love this concept. This is so cool. But yeah, everyone has done such a wonderful job. We got some really cool colors and stuff going on. Have a zombie problem? Contact us here. Witch Coven Zombie Hunters. I love it. I love it. You guys really did a great job with these. This is awesome. Ooh, we got a Renfield Transportation Manager, opencasket.com. Open for business, discreet travel arrangements. Is this, I think this is a travel arrangements for vampires. This is amazing. Dude, that is fabulous. So everyone has done such a wonderful job. But before we run out of time, I do want to jump into our challenge for today. So if I pull up this landing page one last time, you'll notice we have the Get Started button here under our advertisement mockup description. You can click that button and you will get this file. Looks a little bit like this. This is, let me actually close, I'm going to close this file. I was doing a little practice this morning. So this file is the starter file for challenge number 5, and it just says, again, create a simple advertisement and then mock it up on a wall by editing the perspective. And I've got James Coleman listed in this file because it is his photo that we are utilizing for today's challenge. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hide my little info tab here. I might even just put it on the bottom. If I unlock my background, just drag it underneath so I don't have to look at it and it doesn't get caught up in everything that I'm doing. Now, the first thing that I am going to do is I'm going to make the actual smart object that is going to contain our design. So I'm just going to grab my selection tool, my rectangular marquee tool, and I'm going to drag out to like a poster size sort of thing. I'm going to grab my paint bucket tool, either by selecting it from my toolbar here or just pressing G on my keyboard. And I am on a new layer within this selection. I am going to just drag and drop or paint bucket in some white. Then I'm going to right click this layer and I'm going to say convert to smart object, and control D to deselect. So now I have a smart object that is about the size of the poster that I want. I'm going to double click this and rename this poster. Or if you are familiar with mockups, this would be the layer where you might see this like this. Your design here. that's about what we're creating right now. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to free transform this because I want to be able to open this smart object as like a container of sorts and edit what's inside of it. But when I edit that, I want it to be skewed in perspective so it looks like it's attached to this wall. So what I'm going to do is on this smart object, I'm going to say Control T to free transform. And I'm going to right click this and I'm going to hit skew. And I'm going to just kind of skew these corners a little bit to make it look like it's in perspective. And the way that I'm doing this to try and kind of get it right in the proper perspective is you'll notice these bricks with this image are kind of descending into perspective. They're getting a little smaller as it goes kind of deeper into this image. I'm actually aligning my image with these bricks. Because that helps me keep it a little bit accurate. And it does get a little wider than what I want, but that's all right because I can hit Control T again to take it out of skew and go back to free transform. And then I can hold Shift and drag this in like so. And that makes it kind of look like we've got our piece in perspective here. I can drag it out here just to push it out a little bit more. I might right click and skew just a tiny bit more, kind of pull these corners in. And that works for me. So I'm going to hit enter on that. Now this is cool. We have our rectangle kind of on the wall and that's neat, but it doesn't really look like it's a part of our scene. So what I'm going to do is I am going to add a bit of a blur because you can see how in the center here I've got like these bricks that are starting to blur as they descend into the depth of the scene, and then it's more sharp right here on the edge. So I'm going to go up to Filter, Blur Gallery, and I'm going to grab the Tilt Shift. And I'm going to turn this like so, and I'm going to drag these out so that I'm not blurring this edge of my piece. And I'm just going to hover this over like so, so that you see the edge of our poster is starting to blur a little bit with the scene now, so we can kind of make it feel like it is included definitely in what's going on in this scene. I'm trying to decide if that's a little too much blur, maybe more like that. And I'm gonna hit enter. So now we have like kind of our sharp edge here that blends with the scene and then more of a blur here as everything starts to blur. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little texture over the top. So I'm going to go into my libraries and I've got just this gray concrete that I really like to use. You can use whatever you want for this. You can use a noise texture, you can use an old paper texture, whatever you see fit. But I'm going to go ahead and just use this image. I'm going to place it over. I'm going to right click it and say create clipping mask, and I'm going to turn the fill down. Now a lot of times I will use like a blending mode, but we haven't added our design in there just yet, so I don't want to start overlaying things and doing stuff like that before I start putting my design in. So I'm going to do that, and then I might also add a drop shadow. I know there's a lot of people that don't like drop shadows, so if you don't want to add a drop shadow to yours, you don't have to, but I'm going to go ahead and double click my smart object here. I'm going to hit drop shadow, and I'm going to make sure the drop shadow is very small. It's actually already set to be a pretty small drop shadow. I don't want anything like extra wild and crazy on here. I've kind of cranked my distance, pulled my distance in a little bit. You can make it, you can make it farther if you want, but we don't want it to look like it's hovering away from the wall. We want it to look like it's just barely kind of grazing the wall, like so. We can kind of change the spread, pull the spread back to make it a little blurrier. We can also change the size, but I think that's probably good right there. That works for me. And I'm gonna say, okay. Now to add our design. Let's see, let me make sure I'm not missing any questions. Biola says, you have addicted me to noise textures now, Voodoo Val. I am so sorry, but also totally okay with that. I love noise textures. I really do. I can't help it. I'm sure no one is surprised whenever I'm like, and surprise, noise texture for today. You guys can really use whatever you want depending on your own style and your own preferences. I tend to do these challenges and do them the way I want to and do them the way that I know how to do them. But if ever you see me do something and you're like, huh, I think I have kind of a different idea how this could go, or you have a different technique than I use, please feel free to use that. And I would even love if you would tell us how you changed the challenge to fit your own needs, because I'm always interested to hear what you folks will do. So now that I have like my page kind of on our wall and everything, there may be, if I had more time, I might add some more blending modes and things to this. But for now, this is good enough for what we're doing. I may also come in here. I'm going to select my image and put a photo filter on it. So if I hit photo filter, you can see, actually that's not bad. Just adding like a little bit of warmth to it. I guess when it's like cooler, it blends in more with our painting, but I also kind of like it a little darker. But you guys can figure out what you want. I can even come in here to the cooling. See, now the cooling is a little too much. Let me see what's going on with these warming filters. I like to just kind of like page through and see what's going on. I might leave it right there. I kind of like that. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to double click the icon for our layer here that's going to contain our design. Just going to go like that, and it's going to open this layer that has our, if you notice, this is our original shape before I skewed it and warped it in any way. So I can come in here and do something like this. Let me grab my text tool. I'm going to come up here and go to Mason Serif because that is the font that I'm using. And I'm going to write curfew, but before I do that, I'm going to make sure I know how to spell the word curfew because I don't know. Okay, there we go. I was right in my head, but I wanted to make sure I didn't misspell the main word of our challenge for today. So I'm in caps going to write curfew if I can. Did that write curfew? Oh no, it did. Well, it did before I removed it. There we go. Curfew. All right, we are implementing a curfew because there is a beast on the loose. There is a monster in town, kind of perusing the streets of our city, and we do not want anyone out after dark. This is regular. I am going to put this on bold because I do have a bold for this, and we can make this kind of look like medieval-esque if we want. We don't have to make this like, you know, you can kind of run with whatever kind of style you want here. I think I have about 6 minutes left, so I'm just gonna kind of throw down what I can, and you guys I think will get the idea. So I'm gonna say curfew. We can do, actually I'm gonna stick with my current line of text. I'm gonna hit enter. I'm also going to make sure that if I'm on a 60 point here, I want to make sure that this is also set to 60 point right here. Let me actually get all of that. Let's set it to 60. And then when I press enter, it will have like a 60 points worth of space between the lines. So if you've ever done that, if you've ever started to type and you notice it does something like this, I'm just gonna scribble real quick. But if you ever notice it's doing something like this, that is because you have your point here. You've got this set to something smaller than your actual font. So the leading is at 11 right here, but my font size is 60. So you need for, let me select all of this, you need for the leading to be set to the same or similar to your font size. I could probably even get away with making this like a 48 to make it a little closer, and that looks pretty good. Okay, so let's, I'm going to select my curfew. There we go. I'm going to come back down in here and it's set back to 11. Why is it set back to 11? Because I'm not selecting everything when I change it. That's why. There we go. All right, so I'm going to say curfew. We're going to do 6 p.m. or sundown. Or sunset. We'll say sunset. And I'm going to select this, and I'm going to change this to a smaller type, actually. Let's come up here and let's change this to like a 24, maybe a 30. No, let's do a 24. And then I'm going to come in here and mess with the spacing and kind of space this out so that it's about as wide as our curfew. Let's see, maybe 100% will be fine. And then I'm going to change the leading yet again, because I'm going to bump this up to be a little closer. Ta-da! Curfew, 6 p.m. or sunset. And then I'm going to add a line. You guys can add any kind of design motif that you prefer here, but I'm just going to go ahead and kind of draw a line. I might actually make that a little bit thicker. Let's see. I don't really want the stroke. Or maybe we can. Maybe we can add a little stroke and it'll be a little bit wider for us. Let's see. Oh, I'm going to make a new layer here. We'll add like a small black line. There we go. And we may crank this up. Oh, it's going to be here. You know what I'm going to do so that I don't have to edit these settings because making the line is not the main portion of our challenge today. I'm going to do what I usually do, and that is just use a rectangle because essentially what I want to do is be able to edit how wide this is very easily, and if I just do a line like this, then I can just edit that rectangle, and that's kind of my own cheat that I like to use, is just do a thin rectangle instead of a line. So we've got our curfew, 6 p.m. or sunset, and then we can do another bit of text down here. If I hit T on my keyboard, another bit of text here, we can say in caps, monster on the loose. And we'll change that to a smaller font. Monster on the loose. Let's change this even smaller, maybe to a 16, okay? And then underneath this, we are going to say something like, lock your doors, bring in pets, stay safe. I don't know, whatever you folks think that would be best to put in a scenario like this, because there is a monster in town. Nobody knows what kind of monster it is just yet because you haven't designed it yet, but we will be getting into that soon. So now it's not 100% filled. Here we can put this like right here, and then maybe on this poster we might also have like an image of sorts. So I'm just going to, for now, I'm just going to put another rectangle like right here. Maybe there would be an image here of a clue, or an image that somebody maybe caught on camera of this creature that nobody knows what it is yet, but everyone knows we need to be staying inside. So then I'm going to hit Control S and save, and then when I come over here to my design, ta-da! So we have our curfew, 6 p.m. or sunset, monster on the loose, lock your doors, bring in pets, stay safe, and we have our little image if we decide to put an image in there. So I really like being able to do this. It's actually pretty fun, especially if you need something real quick. Maybe you don't have a mock-up. Maybe you're creating something that's supposed to like be shown on a wall or on a building or something, and you don't have a mock-up yourself, or maybe you have mock-up specifications. Maybe your client tells you, you know, you have to have like a brick wall and this and that and all that stuff, but you can't really find a mock-up that looks exactly like what they want, you know, for their project, or you can't find a mock-up that matches their brand. You could make your own and throw your own poster on a wall and do your own thing. So yeah, here is our curfew poster, and it's pretty easy. It's pretty easy to make, actually. It's a lot more easy to create kind of an editable mock-up smart object file than a lot of people think. So I hope that this helps you. Your curfew is incorrect. I'm sorry. Is it? Did I still spell it wrong? Is it? Oh, it's there's a U in it. All right. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna make sure that I spell it right, and I'm gonna look so So smart. And then people have probably been screaming at me this whole time, like, why aren't you spelling it right? It looks like a V in this font, but there we go. Curfew with a U. All right. So thank you all so much for joining me. It was a blast. I do have to take off because I have literally like 30 seconds before I have to leave, but you all are wonderful. I can't wait to see what you do with this challenge, and I will be back tomorrow morning for some more spooky, scary challenges. Adios, everyone.